Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilson with the Active Trend Traders. Welcome to Making Money Trading Stocks and ETFs for Friday. And this, of course, is the, what day is today? Today's the 12th. I think it's the second Friday of 2018. We have had two just kind of amazing weeks in the market. And oftentimes with the January effect, they say, how goes the first week or first 2 weeks of the month? It basically predicts how the rest of the year goes. And so if that's the case, we could be looking out for a very exciting time in 2018. At the same time, there are some warning signs that are out there. I want to remind everybody that all the materials we present are for training purposes only. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. Past performance is not an indication nor a promise of future performance. So let's get into today's session. A little bit about me, let's see, and what I've been doing. It's kind of funny, we've been in business with the active trend trading now for, since we launched back in 2007 for 11 years, wow. Then we went live with folks about 2010, 2011. So I love this quote by Dan Zanger. I had it up there last week, and I will continue to have this up. I think it speaks very loudly. And at the beginning of the year, we need to basically get this indelibly etched into our memory, into our memory banks. Your job as a trader is to wait for the best opportunities. Money is made stalking and sitting, not being active and forcing a new trade each day. I got an email from David. I'm gonna call you out on this one. I got an email from David. He basically says, hey, he got filled in one of the positions we're trying to do for strategy 3, but it took him a week and a half, a little bit over a week and a half to get filled on it where it met his criteria. And my kudos to you, David, for basically being patient and letting the trade come to you. So awesome, man. Because so oftentimes we traders kind of like, we want to be rewarded right now, and sometimes that just ain't the way it works. It's just not the way it works. So our objective of the Friday show is to basically time the actual intel review at the end of each week. We'll do a market review, stocks and ETF performance, and a bonus trade if we have one. We're stopped out of a bonus trade we had earlier in the week, but we got out basically unscathed. It was a real quick, move in, move out. Didn't come close to hitting our max stop loss. And so we'll wait to see if we can reload on that. And that was on Grub, G-R-U-B. Here's where we're sitting as a beginning of, it's always fun to start these things off at the beginning of the year because it basically, here's what we're starting with, $100,000 in a marginable account. And basically we're up a little bit for the year so far, primarily in just the 3 entities that we put out there for the strategy 3 trades. And the indexes are kind of amazing. I mean, NASDAQ and NASDAQ Composite in 2 weeks up 5%. Okay, S&P up 4%. Dow up 4%. Russell getting into the act and almost up 4%. Very interesting. Am I worried that I'm only down here at 1.42%? No, not at all. Because basically we just keep piling on a little bit at a time until we catch and overtake the indexes somewhere in the year. I want to remind everybody that with seasonality, we are in this season down here. As we can see, what's happening though, what's really kind of funny, is normally you would expect this from the NASDAQ but instead it's up here like this, already in the first 2 weeks of the year. So it's already jumped up there. This seasonality chart shows tendencies for to anticipate. What I like it for is typically down towards some of its lows just before it shows that it goes up into a big long uptrend. That oftentimes is within a plus or minus 15-day period is when you can get some good triggers. And so that's what we're paying attention to. Another one we're looking at, Russell, of course. Russell is here. Again, Russell tends to move sideways, but as you see, Russell has gotten a bid. It's just very interesting, all the things that have happened in the past year that have improved the United States economy, the parts of it getting, the government off of our back, the taxes and all that type of stuff seems like it's all coming together kind of in a perfect storm to help promote the market going higher. GDP growth up in the 3% range, where the new normal had been said was going to be down in the 2% range back a couple of years ago. So it's kind of interesting what happens when the government gets off the economy's back and let the economy do its thing. Here's where we're sitting this was as 2017. This is how we did. What I'll be doing is probably starting next week, we'll start rolling this into, it'll be the 2018. We'll track by month. We track, the strategies, how well they're doing for the month. And so that's what we'll be doing going forward. I want to remind everybody that the active trend trading system is basically follows the 5 pillars of active trend trading. We basically explain what to trade, primarily top quality IBD growth stocks and or top-notch ETFs and the leveraged version of those, when to enter, when to exit, what strategy we're going to use, and what to expect. And we'll come back to this in a moment. Let's take a look at the indexes and see how they are doing as of right now. Okay, let's go with the S&P. The word that came to mind as I was reviewing the indexes was climax top. And while, yes, we haven't got any reversals on this yet, the market has basically accelerated from around August of last year, accelerated up a little bit. This longer term blue line, line here is the longer term trend going back to 2016 when we bottomed and started rolling up. This is a fairly gradual uptick, and that's excellent. However, what's happening now is on the TSI and on the price action, it is very extended away from its moving averages, which typically means that can it extend away from the moving averages more? Yes, it can. However, at some point, it will revert back to the mean. It always happens. When it's going to happen, we don't know right now. But look at what's happened here. Is we have an acceleration, have another acceleration as depicted by this line here, and now we also have over since the beginning of the year have had a new acceleration going this way. And so, has it gone hyperbolic? I'll let you be the I'll let you be the judge on that. But you may want to go to, and I'll pop this up real quick. Go to Investopedia and read about climax tops and what they look like and how they function. They can go on for several weeks and or months, but it's a rapid rise in an index and or a stock after it's already had a pretty nice move up. And then it just rapidly just rolls up, and it can gain anywhere from 25 to 100+% in this short period of time. And it's telling you that that just stand by. It's not a great time to buy, although some people will buy right up here at the top because they're afraid that they're going to miss out. You see, this one got whacked and fell from the sky. So go to, like I said, I think it's Investopedia. Oh, amateurinvestor.net. It'll give you an idea of what a climax stop, and you can go to Investopedia. That'll tell you a lot the same thing. Very interesting stuff. So is this a climax top? I'm not going to call it yet, but I'm not going to call it that way yet. However, it's looking kind of interesting. it hasn't it hasn't said, hey, I'm turning over yet, but it probably will. NASDAQ, DX. Okay. There. Oh, come on. Really? Okay, if it's not going to show us in NASDAQ, we'll swap over to the Qs real quick. Here we go. Q, similar type situation. Since the beginning of the year, we've had a nice move up. What can we recognize about the Qs or the NASDAQ that it's been doing? It's been doing these really nice little pullbacks into the moving averages in a rebound. So nice flags, nice flags. And right now, we need a flag. We need a flag to pull back into the moving averages for a bounce higher. That's where I would be looking at buying. As you can see, we're getting a little bit of negative divergence on a weekly chart and a little bit of divergence here on a no negative divergence. This is the monthly chart. There we go. So let's take a look at the Russell. Russell got up, it picked up a bit over the last couple of days, really shot up out of here, really nice. However, what's that candlestick it's putting in right now? If it finishes today with that candlestick, that candlestick right there is what would be considered a shooting star, which is oftentimes are an inverted hammer, but it's a shooting star when it's at the end of an uptrend. If that holds, then that could be considered a reversal signal, and it shows that there is strong resistance up there at the 1597 level, and so we can watch for a potential pullback into the moving averages. Again, the Russell, like the S&P, it has finally started to move up with the other indexes. So right now, play the pullbacks into the 820 moving average and move higher. Let's see, Steve, I did not get into the SPY Strat 3 trade at your desired price. Should we adjust or keep on waiting? Well, I sent out an email, Steve, that talked specifically about that, about different options. The thing you're looking at doing is you would like to get in a position where you could and I can answer this in the next session, which is the premium final hour session. But basically, I know David jumped up to the 275 straddle and picked it up for like 25.84 or something like that, which came within the limits of the, picking up the $1.06 per week on the premium. Bob, I assume that the chart can be found on your PDF, your recordings. Which chart, Bob? The charts will show up on the recording. If you get a flag, how many days would you give it before you bought the position? Well, basically, what I'd be looking for there, Barry, is I'm looking for certain other things to happen. So it's not necessarily a matter of days. I'm waiting for and for the premium members. It basically is some of the triggers that we have in our rules that says, okay, here's where to get in. And they've been pretty accurate. Sometimes we have to bounce between hourly chart, daily chart, and weekly chart to find out. I like it to pull back into, like I said, the 820, and then rebound off of that is kind of the brief, short answer for that. So let's see how we're doing here. I want to really briefly, since this was a bonus trade, I want to call this up really quick. Grub. Okay, Grub, we basically got into Grub. I'll zoom in on this a little bit. Okay, let's see, this was Friday of last week, 1-5. We had a really nice TSI tick up, breakout, and we're going, okay, level of support. And so we jumped on a trade, basically on Monday, we put out the alert to go on into the trade here, which actually we put out the buy, we bought it. The buy order was on Saturday, which is the Bay Area Moneymakers meeting. It over the weekend or prior to Monday's open, it had a downgrade, which basically just caused it to drop here. Then it followed on here. But what we had done is we said, okay, we're not going to let this fall a complete 5%, which is our normal stop loss value. We have this swing low here. Draw a picture of that. And if this stock was going to go back into an uptrend like it was showing it was going to do, it should never take out the swing low here, simply because that would mean it's not moving up. It basically the uptrend that had started here had then been reversed. And so we just basically put a little stop loss down here about the 69.90 level. It popped us out on this day. It got us out on this day with a 2.4% loss, or $150. Came all the way back down, hit the 50. And so now we're going to have to evaluate whether or not we want to start nibbling again, because now we have a really nice tick up from a really oversold condition. My challenge with this one, though, guys, just to be straight up, is we have the intraday, the daily TSI and the weekly TSI out of sync. And so we have to watch those very, very carefully. Investors PDF chart. Is it one that I showed, Bob, on the screen? So here we go. So that's what I'm looking there. And let's go back to, it will have the, you can find that at that website, Investopedia, or I think of the investors, it showed what the website was. Can't think of it off the top of my head. Let's see here. Here we go. So focus for January 14th. 1. It's a short week, folks. Enjoy Monday. We honor Dr. King's holiday, his birthday on that day. So, really enjoy amateurinvestor.com. Thank you, Barry. Basically, just to, have some good time. What I would like to do is I would like to sell some premium against moving into the weekend, but we'll see if we can do that or not. I'm waiting for an entry trigger on Netflix, NVDA, Tesla, YY. And I'm replacing, at the request and also after evaluating, I'm replacing a couple of the entities on our ETF list. And I'm replacing Nugget and I'm replacing Dust with the Junior Nugget, JNUG, and JDST. And the reason for it, I had somebody point out to me at a very wonderful dinner last night with one of the members who one of the active trend trading members who happened to be visiting here in Hawaii. He pointed out that these two, they run about a third more than Nugget and or Dust. And so if Nugget is up 20%, this will be up closer to 30%. So we're gonna basically just replace those two. I think that'll serve us well in the long run. Stopped out on Grub. Waiting to close the Tesla Lexus position, and then we are now filled with Spider and Baba and Tesla to write positions against, and we'll be going into that in the final hour. I'm waiting for any more bonus trades to set up in Catfish Specials, if there are any, which I'll be reviewing this over the weekend. Okay, as a reminder, here's what our bonus trades did the last quarter of 2017. As soon as we get some, we have one trade in 2018, and we'll, be replacing that as soon as we get some more trades in 2017. Here's the go, no-go table that all premium members get. As you can see, we had no real setups for the week, but things continue to move higher. If you want to see something that's in tune, look at NVDA, look at Netflix, and you can see how those have just run up just really, really hard, just like the market has done. The ETFs that are highlighted here are the non-leveraged ETFs. The overall watch list that I watch, though, is I watch the leveraged ETFs for these entities. Premium members, you know which ones those are. Okay. Again, we introduced last week. I'm doing this trade. It's a lesson in compounding, is what it is. Basically, is I'm taking $5,000 and I'm going to apply strategy 2 to it, which is basically buying and selling options. And my idea is I'm going to trade this against Tesla so that I can buy my wife a new Lexus at the end of the year, which she is really happy about. And so, so basically, I'll be tracking this. I'll also be providing the trades. Now, I made a couple of trial trades earlier in the year, at the first part of the year, just to test this out, just make sure it was going to function properly for us. But I will, on all the other trades, I will be providing it back to the premium members of, okay, here's what I'm trading, here's where I'm getting in, the whole 9 yards strategy 2. So basically, that's it for today, guys. Again, 2018, I anticipate and I expect this is going to be for many traders who tune in with us and trade with us, I envision this being a year of breakthrough. And as I was kind of thinking about that, what does breakthrough mean? There's a lot of different definitions to it. But as I looked it up, breakthrough is a sudden and dramatic improvement and or discovery or development. It's moving beyond an obstacle. And for many people, they get obstacles in their trading. Sometimes they're self-imposed. Sometimes they're limits that are outside themselves. But if we can get some breakthroughs where we really start doing well with the system and focusing on the process of the system and not so much the results of every trade, and let the results take care of themselves, then that will lead to a restoration in how you've been trading over the years. So keep your egg growing, trade wisely and profitably. You can reach me at these areas or follow us at this areas. Here's my email, here's my number, and I do take phone calls, and I return them pretty quickly too. So premium members, stand by for the next the final hour, which we'll be doing here shortly. And until Monday will be Tuesday. That's when we'll do the next free webinar on Tuesday. Aloha, trade well, and prosper. Until next week, good day, everybody.